This is our letter to Ambassador Fernando. The Southern California Pacific Island communities condemn in the strongest possible terms the indefensible and unwarranted actions of the Chilean government against the indigenous people of Rapa Nui. Chile's violent and brutal response is the culmination of years of negotiations over disputed lands that have gone nowhere. Although Chile signed and adopted the Declaration of Rights of Indigenous Peoples at the United Nations in September 2007, the armed suppression on Rapa Nui suggests that your government is not willing to come to a peaceful settlement with the island's native inhabitants. Chile's aggressive actions suggest the intent is now to forcibly strip the native inhabitants of their rights to their lands, cultural identity, and natural resources. Land ownership was not discussed in the 1888 annexation by Chile of Rapa Nui. A 1933 Chilean land registration law gives ownership to the island's property to the Chilean government, unknown to the general population of Rapa Nui until the 1960s. They have been fighting for their ancestral lands and their cultural survival ever since. Never have the Rapa Nui natives resorted to violent measures, as their concerns and protests elicited no legitimate response from the mainland authorities. In recent years, the Chilean government has been illegally selling title to the lands in Rapa Nui to influential non-native individuals and firms. Frustrated over years of negotiations that have gone nowhere, the Rapa Nui people have responded in peaceful protest by reoccupying property on their ancestral lands. On December 3rd, 2010, after months of relatively peaceful reoccupation of their lands, Chilean troops forcibly evicted and opened fire on unarmed Rapa Nui natives. Several dozens of Rapa Nui were injured. It is unnecessary for riot police to shoot unarmed protesters. This is entirely contrary to the intent of the United Nations Declaration that Chile is party to. The future of the culture of the indigenous Rapa Nui people is tied to the land. Tepito o te henua, navel and uterus, or the umbilical cord of the world is how the people of Rapa Nui sometimes refer to their island. It is where they believe they come from and where their ancestors live after they leave this world. Any development on Rapa Nui should be done with the respect to the ancestral lands, the cultural people of Rapa Nui, the signed UN Declaration, and the confines of the Chilean law. We are prepared to throw the political strength of our 450,000 strong diverse Pacific Island community in California behind this effort to make people aware of what is happening in Rapa Nui. We are also prepared to mount an energetic press campaign to inform our families, friends, supporters, organizations, and respective governments here on our homelands and abroad about the egregious, heavy-handed, and brutal acts carried out by the Chilean government against our Polynesian cousins in Rapa Nui. We urge President Pinero to become immediately and directly involved to resolve this growing crisis, to halt the genocide of the people of Rapa Nui, and to help with the return of the Rapa Nui people to their homelands. We also urge President Pinero to reinstate the inherent rights of the indigenous people of Rapa Nui to their lands, their culture, and the rights as human beings to live free and cohesively on the Rapa Nui as well as in Chile. We welcome an open discussion so that you may answer these concerns. We also make ourselves available to you if there is anything we can do to assist in a peaceful and diplomatic resolution to this crisis. We humbly ask your support in restoring peace and unity to our cousins in Polynesia as we grieve for their loss. Signed, Lono Callers, President, Save Rapa Nui USA Coalition.